Hello and welcome to another Xterra video where I work on my truck. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. And on today's video I'm gonna tackle one issue that I actually had for quite some time, but I just never simply paid attention to it until one of my friends mentioned it to me. And what I'm gonna attempt to fix is to replace my fan clutch, because apparently it's not feeling too good. It's too loud. And it's not supposed to be like that. Actually, none of my friends' trucks are that loud when they start the truck and when it's running. So I think that is the issue. So let me actually start it up and so you guys can hear the sound before and after. So as you can see, it's pretty loud. The way it makes the noise is pretty loud. And my friends are telling me it's not supposed to be that loud, that my fan clutch is going bad. So I'm gonna try to replace it, and we'll see if that's gonna solve that issue. Now, to replace it, it shouldn't be too much of a big deal. All we have to do is just disconnect our air intake. Depending on what kind of setup you guys have, you may have to remove more stuff. So in my case, I have to remove these hoses, I have to remove this pipe for air intake, and I have to remove this shroud. And then we should have no issues getting to the fan clutch. And this is a new fan clutch I got. It's by 4 Seasons. Seems to be like a good manufacturer, hopefully. So there's the part number. As always, I'm gonna leave all the links in the description. So this is what it looks when it's all brand new. So first, depending on what you have over here, gonna start removing everything. In my case, I just have to remove these hoses. I have to do them from over here. And I'm gonna remove this air intake and remove this top shroud. I've seen people remove the upper radiator hose, but I'm gonna try avoid that, even though I'm probably not gonna lose much because it's all the way on top. But still, sometimes I say something I'm not gonna do, but then I do it anyways. But for now, I'm gonna remove all of these, and then we're gonna get to the part of how we're gonna disassemble it. Now, once all of that is out of the way, make sure you unplug this plug. Let's just put it on the side for now, and it's also secured over here. Now let's remove this hose. So now in my case, I have two 10mm bolts over here that I'm gonna unscrew, and then hopefully the whole thing should come out. And also, don't forget to disconnect the lower transmission hose over there that's connected to the plastic, and the one that gets connected over there on the side. So we do have to remove this, unfortunately, because otherwise we have no room to pull this up. So just make sure you have a rock nearby in case it's gonna start leaking, and let's just pull this out. Alright, so a lot more antifreeze came out than I expected. So unfortunately I spilled some over here. So I would advise you just drain a little bit and then you disassemble it. Even though I jacked up the front of a truck thinking that it's gonna help, but doesn't help much now. But anyways, now this is out of the way, we can lift it up, but it's easier gonna be if we remove the electrical fan as well. So let's unscrew this one as well, which is also 10mm. So now let's pull the fan out. Alright, and let's wiggle and remove the shroud as well. Okay, now we have a clear access to this assembly over here. So once again, this is a 10mm. So let's break those bolts loose and we can take this out. With a 10mm, gonna try to break them loose. It's 1, 2nd, 3rd, and 4. So all 4 nuts are loose. Now I'm gonna take them out and we can take this assembly out. Now for jobs like that, a ratcheting wrench is a saver. Just put it in there and off you go. So I'm taking all the bolts out, but what happens, the studs, they come out completely from over there. Because their bolts are rusted from the outside, this doesn't go. It's easier for it to break from the inside and just come out completely. Why couldn't they use just a regular bolts there with the washers? Beyond me. So once I take all of this out, then I have to figure out how I'm gonna reassemble this, but I guess we'll get to that when we'll get to that. So, but for now, let's see if we can remove this, the last bolt nut over here. Alright, now this should simply just, we should be able to just simply pull this out. There we go. And it's out. Alright guys, and the assembly is out. So here is our new one and the old one. So whenever you remove this, just pay attention to the direction of the propeller. Don't flip it. That's kind of important. So let's just unbolt all 4 of these bolts and simply move it over here. And that's a 10mm here as well. And once all the bolts are out, don't be afraid, just give it a few taps and it's gonna come out completely. So now basically just a reverse procedure. And over here it also actually says front, so don't put it like that, make sure you put it like that. So line the holes for the bolts. There you go, fits perfect. Now I didn't look it up at any specific torque for this. I might look it up, but just do it by hand until you feel it snug, because remember this is aluminum. I'm pretty sure it doesn't take more than 25 pounds for the torque, but just do what feels right. Alright, so now I'm ready to put this back in place. So I'm not gonna put back these studs with these nuts, because I feel like I'm not gonna be able to get this tight properly, because as I'm screwing this in, this part might not be all the way in, and then I have to tighten this. I just don't feel like it's gonna be right. So what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna use these M6 20mm bolts, which are grade 8, with the lug washers and washers. I think it's gonna be more secured. So now I'm just gonna take some time, struggle putting all of this in there. And I should have removed the belt from here. This made my life so much easier. I can just spin this around and I can access all the bolts from the top and then just easily put them in place. And there is plenty of space behind this pulley, so the bolts are not gonna interfere with anything. So now just gonna make them all tight. And alright, and all the bolts are tight and back in place. Make sure you don't forget to put your pulley belt in place. You can actually hold it down so you can tighten it more. So now I'm just gonna work on reassembling everything back, and then we're gonna do a test. We're gonna start it up and we'll try to hear, and hopefully there is going to be a difference.
Much later.
Alright, everything is back in place. Just whenever you assemble and everything, just double check, make sure everything is in place. All the hoses are connected, all the plugs are connected, nothing is hanging anywhere. And once you do that, make sure you check it again, that nothing moves, nothing rattles, and everything how it's supposed to be. And then make sure you just add the antifreeze, because you lost some, so let's add some. So now just gonna go ahead and try it to see. Gonna start it up on a cold start. We'll see how it sounds now. Okay guys, everything is done, everything is put together. So now all it's left is just to start the truck and to hear if that made any difference. Wow, what a difference! Look at that. What a difference. Once you start it up, it's kind of a little bit loud, about as much as the old one, but within 5 to 10 seconds it quiets down. Oh wow, I'm actually happy. This actually worked out. When I started the truck at first and it was loud, I was kind of concerned that didn't do anything, but in fact that got fixed. Now it's pretty quiet. Nice.
2000 years later.
Alright guys, it's a small update from the future. It's actually been quite a few months since I installed the unit. It's winter now, but it's still working great. There's no issues with it. It's still working great, so that's good. And a matter of fact, I'm actually gonna be replacing another one of those for my friend's truck, because he has the same issue with his fan clutch. It's making a lot of noise, and the truck sounds like it's a big 18-wheeler or dump truck just passing by. It's very loud. So once again, I would recommend you to check if your truck is making noise. Maybe you just didn't notice it, maybe you just didn't pay attention, but check it out. But anyways, it's all good, it's all working, and yeah, very happy with that. But now let's go back to the video again. Alright guys, another project successfully done. I'm happy. One less issue is resolved, and now the truck runs much smoother, much quieter, and that's pretty good. All in all, it took me about an hour and a half to replace that fan clutch, so it's not that big of a job, it's not too complicated, and especially considering that I also had to record, so whenever you record it always takes longer. But I highly suggest you guys to check if you need to replace your fan clutch and replace it. The parts are not that expensive, and to replace it's pretty easy. All you need is basically just a part, a little bit more of the antifreeze, and a 10mm socket and wrench, and a screwdriver. And of course I'm gonna leave all the links in the description for the parts where I got it from and which one it was. But once again, I hope you guys enjoy these videos, I hope you might find it helpful, and as always, until next time, everybody, bye!